Hey guys, welcome back to episode 16 of Mods 10. In the last episode, I upgraded my power, and I'm hoping that this guy is done while I'm trying to record this intro. Am I out of power again? Is it draining my reactors again? It sure is. Well, I would have thought that the huge buffer over here would serve me well, and it seems like it is. The problem I'm running into now is that the mechanism pipes just don't pump enough power into it, but well, it is done now, so hypothetically, I can craft these. I think the solution to this is to just add more of the energizing rods, perhaps underneath, perhaps on top, and make it even crazier. And in the spirit of cleaning up, I want to put down a empty fluid tank, which is going to serve as my lava production, because at the moment I cannot make an infinite lava card. And if I want to get into power or make any more reactors, I would need more lava. I'm getting tired of going into the nether, and so I'm going to automate this with a pattern provider. And the secret sauce happens to be this goofy little recipe right here that takes a bucket of lava and turns it into a bucket of lava as a liquid. Now if I put this in this pattern provider here, and I change the mode on this guy to be output, you can see that the texture changes, it brightens up. This should now output lava into, well, the system. And I'm going to create a fluid storage especially for lava. Just going to craft one up, put it in the drives, segment it, or partition it to be specifically just lava, and we'll have more lava automated and on request. And to partition a drive, you need something called a cell workbench. I believe I have crafted this in the past. I can say partition storage, but there's nothing in the storage. I can, however, specify lava to be what this fluid storage disk stores. And now if I click partition, it goes away. So if there was lava in here, it will be partitioned to lava. I've done something similar with this storage bus over there, where I have partitioned this storage to be everything that is already in there. And well, if I click this, it automatically reads what's in the storage, and now the storage bus only interacts with these items. And this is at a lower priority, so everything gets pulled out of here and gets pushed back in. And now hypothetically, like I've said before, I should have infinite lava if I put this here, and then just put a request in for a bunch of lava. I don't know how I'd request liquid lava though, that is confusing. So it turns out you can just right click a bucket of fluid and then request a fluid. And I would like to have, I don't know, I just made a bucket. How many bytes was that? 2048 bytes. So I think I can have 1,000 buckets. I'll just request 1,000 buckets, one bucket at a time. And now, if all of this goes to plan, this guy should be going crazy with buckets. And these buckets need to go back into the system, which they don't seem to be, and that is rather unfortunate. Well, I'll have to figure something out with that, that's for sure. And honestly, this is the best I can come up with for the time being, given that I have run out of channels on everything else around me. I have had to pull this cable from down there, which is AutoCrafting over there, to be the cable responsible for bringing back my buckets into the system. And if I just tell this guy to pull out, it should hypothetically pull these buckets out, which it is doing now. Cool. And now we have a steady supply of 1,000 buckets of lava. If it ever runs out, it'll just craft more with the fire essence. Fully autonomously and passive. Also, between clips, I've been steadily putting down more and more drawers to house all of the Pam's Harvest Craft crops. And all of those, like I said in the time lapse in the last episode, are now over here, still being accelerated. And I have put Mage Bloom in this drawer right here. So very soon I should be able to make pretty cool things with Arjuna WoW. But at the end of the day, all of this is just busy work. What I should actually be working towards and not getting distracted is the Modium Star. And to get to the ATM Star, well, I think the next thing I would like to work on is these portals. Now, I do wonder if I can make an enchantment applicator that automatically does the infusion enchanting, or whether this is something that I have to do myself. The fact that this is a designated craft for the enchantment table leads me to believe that I can't automate this, but I'm going to try anyways. And to automate that process, I wonder if I can use something like an enchantment applicator but it seems like this needs an input, a book, and it applies that book's enchantment to the output. And that leads me to believe that maybe the factory has something better for me. And this is more like it. This enchants at a given level with a given amount of essence with an input and gives an output. And so it takes power and essence. And to make essence or liquid experience, I think experience seeds are a worthy pursuit. Now, making this is a slightly convoluted task because you need experience capsules, and these are all pretty in-depth crafts where you have to find solium in the nether, and then the soul glass is a kind of just smelt cobbled soulstone a bunch of times to get that. I have set those AutoCrafts up, so I should now be able to request for capsules, just like so. And once the smelting operations and crafting operations are done, it should show up. And to fill these with experience, I believe you just right click these and it pulls XP out of your person. And eventually fills up. Now to fill up with such a huge amount of experience, I think it's only fair that I take out everything from here and just hold down right click till I fill all these up. Now I'm going to do something extremely similar to the lava, but with this fluid tank instead, because the bottle of Enchanting, which is crafted with the experience droplets, happens to only be usable in one of these, and it gives me 250 MB of XP juice, which I can then hopefully turn into liquid XP somehow. The beautiful part about Ender IO machines is the fact that in this interface you can basically go in and select faces and how they interact with things around them. So if I set the pattern provider face to be push and pull, and then use this recipe to encode this as a XP recipe, I should now be able to put this in here, and then the XP bottle will turn into XP juice, and then the glass bottle will be pushed back into the return inventory of the pattern provider. I now need to set up AutoCraft for glass bottles, and other than that, I should now be able to put down another fluid disk and store liquid experience in there, which I can then pipe into the enchantment machine right there. And hopefully all of this works. Again, this is all a hypothetical. Y'all are coming along on an adventure with me. And guess what? It didn't work at all. I'm gonna have to go down the apotheosis enchanting route at the end of the day. And I'm not looking forward to that. I might just do that entire setup off camera with the infusion crafting. On second thought, the guide seems to be rather helpful and lays out exactly what type of bookshelves you would need to get the different levels of Quanta, Arcana, and the other stuff. So I might just go through and do this manually right now, because I need to get here to make my portals, and well, at least I get to get rid of this goofy little vanilla enchantment setup, right? Alright, so let's just do as the quest asks us. I gotta make 10 health shelves, and then this one will need 15 normal and then 5 health shelves to get the infused health shelves. Okay. There's just gonna be a whole boatload of crafting, so I'll be right back. Fortunately for me, I got fish seeds from a previous quest, so rather easily I can just put fish essence down here and get the little fishies to go in here. Now what I've been doing is all the crafting ingredients I need I've been putting in here, because now I should be able to pretty much automate Heart of the Sea production, because Nautilus shells is just fish essence and prismarine, and then that's just prismarine, diamond, and squid. Prismarine, diamond, squid, and fish is right here. Perfect. And with all of that crafting out of the way, I just had to make myself another few infused hell shelves to get the blazing hell shelves. According to the quest, I should be able to put down, 4 of these and then 2 of these. And sure enough, I can take dormant deep shelves and then convert them into normal deep shelves. Now these deep shelves are pretty much useless until you turn them into either echoing or soul touch deep shelves. Because on their own, they don't do much. At least for me, because what I need are the soul touched skulk shelf, which needs a deep shelf, and that needs a soul lantern and some skulk. The only way to get skulk happens to be to take a trip down to the whatchamacallit, the ancient city. So that's what I'm gonna do next. And just like that, I've managed to make my way all the way to Infused Dragon's Breath, where its requirements are fairly stringent. It wants 80 Eterna, between 15 and 30 Quanta, and at least 60% of Arcana, so I've got just a random assortment of shelves that I had laying around. I made one Echoing Skulk shelf so that I can get my max 80, and then a couple of these that bring up the max 75, just sort of riffing off what I had, tried combinations till I got one. And now I have Infused Dragon's Breath, which means with one Soul Touch Skulk shelf, I should be able to, well, completely build myself a miniature exit portal. And that's going to be one of the things required to make the Dimensional Seed, which is then used in the Modium Star. Hey, that's a lot of progress. And this is sort of how I've been gaining my level just lately. Just eat a bunch of those things, and I should now be able to infuse this guy to be a deep shelf instead of a dormant one, which I can then turn into a soul touch deep shelf. If I can craft one of these. Bam. And then I should be able to make one of these thanks to the warden that I'm farming using the Drigmies. And I think that's everything, right? I should now just be able to click this in and huzzah! Miniature exit portal. Oh, I just hope if I break it, it comes back. Alright, cool. And I'm probably going to put it for safekeeping somewhere. It can go directly back into my system. My next pursuit involves automating a bunch of these singularities, not only to eventually use it in the improbable probability device, which just needs the one. That's not too big of a deal. But also the quantum computer, which needs a whole load of singularities. Now, I'll be able to make these in huge amounts to the point where I would have a great excess, but I do enjoy myself a little bit of great excess every now and again. I'm going to show you the cheesiest way to make this once you have infinite water discs, for which I will have to go get some soul lava. And fortunately for me, soul lava happens to spawn in the other. And you know what I've forgotten? I've forgotten one of my compasses to find. Oh, it's in my backpack. I wanted to find me some structures, and they're called cities, I believe. Something city. Not an ancient city. Nether ancient city. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Ah, I believe it's a piglin village that I'm looking for. And according to the compass, it's right over this way, not too far away either. And this would be the perfect time to speed up my flight, or my walking speed. Perfect. But unfortunately, this soul lava is not, farmed. It's a finite amount of soul lava. The only way to actually get soul lava is to go down the bees rabbit hole. And that is to get a ghostly bee and give it a soul lava bucket, and it turns into a soul lava bee. But given the fact that I only need a little bit, which is 900 millibuckets for my use right now, and I have 24 buckets worth, I think I should be just fine with this, and I can get into bees in the next episode. So I'm gonna hook this guy up to a little storage bus, and then just like that, after having put in the recipes for the blocks and such, I should be able to just request this thing. And that will be all 3 alloy blocks completely automated. Well, mostly automated, semi-automated, let's call it. And I want to check in on this guy. This should be doing the pink slime, which it needs to craft up a bunch of times because, well, let's just say that the slime blocks aren't the best crafts in the world. It needs 9 of these to be crafted up before it can make 1, and the recipe uses 4. I'll be waiting for a while. And hey, it's done while I was trying to set up the next thing. Perfect. I can now take this, break it down into the ingots, and now I have ingots of all of the 3 different alloy blocks, which means I can make all of the infinite drives. Ain't that a nice thing to have? They're all mine now. Perfect. But before I craft up all of those infinite drives, I'm gonna have to take a little break because I wanted to show off what this extended IO port can do with regards to singularities on an infinite water cell. Now, the extended IO port functions much in the same way as this IO port, where it takes from the drive and puts it into the system storage. Except the extended IO port does it 8 times faster than just one IO port. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that this guy, in combination with one of the matter condensers, can condense directly into singularities, which can be done in 64K components and upwards. So, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, I am going to put an infinite water disk in an IO port and have it assume that the matter condenser is the only way to store its water. And since you've already seen how fast these guys are, if you load these up with acceleration cards, I should then be able to have these produce boatloads of singularities pretty much instantly. And also, I'm currently using a recipe that uses iron nuggets to make matter balls because I have an excess of iron nuggets, but I see no harm in making a second matter condenser to make those matter balls with water. So, I'm going to set that up right here. I'll set it up and I'll walk you through it afterwards. Be darned. I expected this guy to be a little bit more performant, but I don't know. This thing's maxed out. There's 5 extended IO ports constantly draining infinite water cells, or at least trying to drain infinite water cells into storage. This is the only network connected storage because it's connected via storage buses. And, well, it's trying its best to fill this guy up, and eventually it'll make a single singularity. So far it's made 1. Made 175 of these, but you know, once the singularities are started crafting, there's no water going into these guys. So, I don't know. Obviously, it's faster to craft singularities the regular old way. And after taking a quick gander at all of these infinite cells, I think infinite lava and infinite cobble are the only 2 that I would really like to use. So, if I'm fast here, I should be able to grab a bucket of lava before it gets used up in the system, and now I have the infinite cobble cell. That was a fairly cheap craft, I could have done that ages ago. This is where the challenge lies, because this is a 256 million storage component, which is just smaller and smaller storage components that need more and more obtuse ingredients as they go along. And that is a 3x block of blazing crystal, which I can just energize in the power setup, but that requires 700 million FE. I can do that. Yeah, I'm more concerned about this, and I should be able to AutoCraft this, given that I have these 3 nuggets. This means that this lava system is already obsolete. How neat is that? Oh, I've only made a 64, and I need many of those to make a 256. I need how much? 80,000 redstone, 66,000 silver quartz, and a whole boatload, a metric ton even, of glowstone. I ain't got all of that. And to be fair, I don't think I can spend enough time just waiting here, even with drawer upgrades, to get all of that. So I think I'm gonna have to call this one here, and in the next one, I'll set up better resource generation. Perhaps, or multiplication with occultism. And you know, perhaps we even get into a little bit of bees. But in any case, this has been KSaw, all the mods 10. And I'll see you next time. Peace out, everybody.